This is going to be your weekly twin flame soulmate relationship tarot reading. If it's meant for you, it's meant for you. We're going to take a look at the connection between you and your person. So, in the comments, please let me know your zodiac signs and your word of the day. Before we begin, I'd like to thank everybody for the kind words, messages, comments on my videos about the passing of my handsome boy, Jimmy. Jimmy was an amazing cat, and he was always a part of my lives on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube for many years. And it's just heartbreaking to lose him so suddenly. But that is a soul contract, and I had an amazing 10 years with him. So, again, thank you for your kindness and for your support. Let's take a look at some overall themes and messages for this reading today. And I feel like I'm going to take this one right off the top. And it says, isn't that interesting? Trust. Transformation occurs through acceptance. Once you accept the current situation, it will automatically transform. Well, isn't that interesting? You know me, and I'm always saying trust the process. That's the best advice I could ever give you. I try to follow it myself, of course, because anything I tell you, I must do as well. I'm a big believer in that. It also talks about accepting the current situation. And it's interesting. I talk about this a lot, actually. And even in the last few days with Jimmy passing, that I have this acceptance, of death, of life. And it does give me some peace. I know that I couldn't have done anything to change the situation. It was meant to happen the way that it happened, even though it wasn't easy. But I think that goes for everything in life. We have to trust, we have to accept, and then we have to navigate moving forward. All of these things bring transformation. So, in love right now, it's so important that you are trusting the process, that you're transforming the energy and see where it takes you. Let's see what else we need to know. Breaking free, getting out of a situation or being on your own now. It depends on where you're at. Some of you are in the middle of leaving a relationship, maybe going through a divorce and going towards your freedom. Some of you are leaving behind a situationship. But not only that, freedom in a relationship is super important. Being able to give someone their freedom, their free will. We don't want to control anything. We want to trust the process and see where things take us. Let's take another card here. And we have exploration. Exactly. We have to trust the process. We have to explore the energies, look for an adventure, likes risk, travel, or kinks. Interesting. Exciting, flighty, and fun. Well, I'll put it to you this way: no risk, no reward. So I'm always in the energy that says spark new energy. Try things out, see where it takes you. Be a Roomba vacuum. What does a Roomba do? Spin around the room. And if it hits the wall, it just redirects itself. And that's what we need to do in our day to day life. And let's take one more. Oh, passion and chemistry. Okay, so how many of you have some passion in the pants right now? That would not surprise me. Okay, so that being said, let's get into the cards. We're going to look at what's going on in your headspace, your person's headspace, your heart space, their heart space, overall energy and underlying energy. And of course, feel free to swap sides if it makes more sense. Okay, let's get into it. In your headspace right now, we have death and rebirth. My goodness, this happened on live, I think yesterday as well. First card, death. Well, I think it's happening in many ways in our lives right now. I mean, for me, obviously, I just experienced the death of a beloved pet, but it's more than just a physical death. We are having a death and rebirth of energy in our lives. We're having a lot of transformation, change, and that's okay. Change doesn't have to be a bad thing. That's also Scorpio energy. You may be a Scorpio or dealing with a Scorpio. And there's the Three of Cups. Three of Cups, believe it or not, with the death card, says to me, celebration of life more than anything. Every time I experience death, I'm reminded how important it is to live. We have to take risks. We have to do what we can with the time that we have, savor the moment, right? And oftentimes we forget. We really do. We get bogged down with the day to day and forget how important it is to actually live. So I do believe that there can be a celebration here of new beginnings. It may not feel like it, in the moment, but it can actually bring you some really positive experiences. Now, in your person's headspace, there is the Two of Cups, lovey vibes, partnership, right? Beautiful. Now, look at this boat that, of course, looks like a new moon. And we have the new moon in Gemini happening on May 26th. So there's definitely new vibes coming through. This is a time for manifestation on new moons. What are your intentions? What are you wanting? And with that, we have here the Hermit. Now, I have seen the Hermit quite a bit. So, what that's telling me is that some of you may be experiencing some isolation or being at a distance, or somebody taking a bit of a time out to figure out what they want. And so that could be the case for your person right now. They're evaluating where the relationship is at or how they feel. Let's take a look at your heart space. What do we need to know? And we have here the Eight of Wands, manifestation, communication, and shooting your shot. I mean, with that new moon energy, what do you want? I feel like I'm in the notebook here. What do you want? What do you want to say? There's a lot of communication energy coming through, like clarity, information, news, feelings. Let's see what else. The World, the acceptance that something has ended. I mean, that's that death and rebirth. The World card means completion of a cycle. Congratulations, you've made it. And now it's about going to the next level. All right, in your person's heart space, we have here the Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles is about feeling left out in the cold. It could be negative thoughts. It could be drawing attention to weaknesses. And so let's see what card goes with that. Yeah, the Ten of Pentacles. It's almost like, and I don't normally do tarot math, sometimes we talk about girl math, and here's tarot math. It almost feels like we're halfway there. Now, why am I channeling Bon Jovi here? But it almost feels like I'll make it, I swear. I don't know why, again, I'm going to Bon Jovi here, but you know, to get to the Ten of Pentacles, you've got to push through. And I'm going to tell you something that I talked about in a session recently. Imagine for a moment that we're all digging a tunnel, right? To our freedom. We're breaking free. And you're digging that tunnel and you're, I don't know, a quarter to a halfway to breaking ground on the other side. And you're tired, naturally. And you stop and you say, you know what? I'm just too tired. I'm going to go back. I understand that we can take a break, but be careful that you're not going backwards. Because once you get to a certain point, right? You've gone this far. Keep going through the healing, to get to what you desire. Now, I'm not talking about chasing a relationship and saying, well, I've invested, I don't know, I'm going to use 5 here. I've invested 5 years into this. I can't give up now. Sometimes, yes, you do need to surrender or you do need to make a move that's better for you. Like you can't wait on anybody. What I'm talking about is for yourself. Like if you want to heal, there's no other way to heal than to go through it, right? I was giving the analogy of, imagine for a moment that you are consistently working out and you stop for an extended period of time and then you try to go back and work out again. How does it feel? Right? Your body doesn't feel the same. It's harder. Imagine you're, trying to watch your food intake, right? And you've been really, really good. And then all of a sudden you go and eat all the foods you shouldn't eat, so to speak. And then you want to go back to, being more restricted. It's hard, right? And that's the same thing with dating. It's the same thing with, spiritual awakenings or trauma healing. You've got to feel it. You've got to go through it. And you can't give up. I hear so many people say, I give up. I give up. I'm never going to love again. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this to myself. Or here's an example. I just lost Jimmy. How many people do you know say, I will never get another pet again because I don't want to feel that hurt? And I understand it and I respect it. But at the same time, giving up or putting up a wall is never going to help a situation. It's going to make us feel it even tenfold, right? We crave connection. We crave new energy. We're just afraid to go through the process. So, we can have it all. This is the 10 of Pentacles. You can have all of these beautiful things, but you've got to be able to push through it. So, your person, or you, like I said, you can swap sides if necessary, but your person may be going through this process of, I don't know if I can do this, but only they can make it through. You can't force them. You can't do the healing for them. You know, you can understand something, but that doesn't mean you have to allow it or accept it. Now, overall energy, we have here the Queen of Swords. So, boundaries, super important, of course, as always. And there's the Queen of Pentacles, a lot of Queen energy in the overall. Queen of Pentacles is stability. This could be about finances and underlying energy. The Lovers. Sorry, I always giggle at this card. I look at this like emperor kind of gladiator armor, you know. That's what we want, right? We want that strength, that making moves kind of energy. And underlying again, death. We've got to move on from something, right? Now, the Lovers is Gemini energy. It's a decision in love. Maybe some of you are making a decision in love, and that can be on any level. That can be moving on from a relationship, going to the next level in a relationship. What are you willing to accept? What are you not willing to accept? It depends on the person, depends on the situation. So stay with me. We're going to look at the after energies. This is the after tarot. We're going to look at what's coming next based on this energy, of course. So in your headspace, what's coming? King of Cups. King of Cups is about being in tune with your emotions. This is about feeling it. Queen of Swords. Universe is like I said what I said. There's the boundaries. What are you willing to accept and what are you not willing to accept? Now, by the way, I'm just thinking to myself here, I have this like vibe, and I know it's not in the cards. I don't know if it'll come out, but it's just sort of a side note. I really strongly do feel the King of Swords also. Like that's just channeled. I think the King of Swords, I mean, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or those placements doesn't have to be about the sign, but it's about detachment, and being logical, yes. But I think that there's this need to be logical and decisive about what's next. At least make the decision and see where it takes you. Oh, this didn't even take 2 seconds. Okay. 7 of Cups. 7 of Cups is about making a decision. I feel like your person is going to come to some decision point because traditionally the 7 of Cups means you have 7 cups, you have to choose one, and not making a decision is making a decision. But this person here has actually chosen, and there's the treasure and the abundance. 7 of Swords. I've seen the 7 of Swords so many times in the last few days. Now, this is about not being able to hide anymore in this particular energy because look, he's about to trip up. He's about to get caught. Now, I'm not saying your person is going to get caught doing something they shouldn't be doing. My point is that they cannot hide the feelings anymore. Now, 7-7. I've been seeing so many sevens. 7-7, 7-7-7. Let's see. What angel numbers are you seeing? Because I know many are coming up right now. In your heart space, there is the 6 of Cups. 6 of Cups is a wish come true. Now, traditionally, the 6 of Cups can be nostalgia and childhood wounds, but because this is the after tarot, it almost feels like a coming of age, if that makes sense. A wish coming true, granted. Yeah, there's the good wishes. The Wheel of Fortune, blessings, wishes coming true, expansion and growth. It's Jupiter energy. And I know there's a lot of videos going around lately about Jupiter and Cancer, which is really going to shift things. Let's see what else. In your person's heart space, there's the Ace of Swords. See, truth and clarity. Something will come to light, some sort of truth, clarity, communication, aha moments, epiphanies, and there's the moon. New moon in Gemini. That new moon in Gemini is going to bring something very special. Overall, we have here the Nine of Pentacles, feeling good in your own skin, self-worth, self-value, and self-respect. And you can see that there's a harvest here, the grapes. We're harvesting the grapes. It's been a long road. And we're not going to overanalyze to the point of missing out on an opportunity anymore, because in the previous version, it was sort of like the universe offering the cup. Well, here's the cup. The cup is in hand. Underlying energy, the star card, healing, blessings, and wishes coming true. I love that. There's definite healing to be had. And the Nine of Cups, ask and you shall receive. It can also be a card of indulgence, but look at this. We're going to feast. Maybe you're going to have a nice dinner with someone that you love. Good conversation, good talks, exploring the energies physically and emotionally. Let's take some last bit of guidance here. I'm so glad you're here with me until the end. Thank you as always. I'm just trying to see what cards I want to use for these last messages. Pardon me. I'm kind of like feeling, I have this vibe today where at times I just don't know. It's not that I don't know what to do. I'm just sort of stunned. I'm still in this bit of shocked energy from everything that has happened with Jimmy. I feel a little bit numb yet feeling all at the same time. I don't even know how to explain it, but grief is a crazy beast, right? Can be anything. So let's take a look at what you need to know, some guidance moving forward. Because we have a new moon coming, let's use the Moonology cards. Your dreams need a practical plan. So essentially, this is indicating setting some intentions more than anything. I'm not big on planning, because I think planning is trying to control. I would say set some intentions. And for your person, balance spirituality and practicality. They need to get out of the illusions. And we saw that with the Seven of Cups. They need to see things for how they truly are. I really hope this resonates with you. If you'd like to do a personal reading with me, the link is in the description box below. Thank you very much, and I wish you an amazing day.